She ain't on fire, but still alive. She cook, but don't clean, she gon' steal your heart. She don't look like you, but she built apart. She ain't cheap, cause the bill is hard. They don't cut her like Esther. Cold weather ain't nothing, she just sew it up, yes sir. Block the boss, didn't blow it up. Gun him down, she gon' hit the wall.
Hey guys, it's Esther back again with another video. What I'm showing you guys right now are the tools and ingredients. We're not cooking. Or basically what you'll need in order to make the Chanel lights. It is really late. I am really tired. So if my energy is low, just know it's because of that. And as you can see, all the ingredients, I keep saying ingredients, but all the tools I used are from Walmart. And the prices are very affordable, so I recommend to grab as much as you want if you want to be making a lot of these, because it's fun, it's simple, and it's just very creative. What you guys see me doing now is I'm cutting where I place the blue tape. What the blue tape serve is it really helps me with the dimension of how I want the Chanel seats to look like. Therefore, the purpose that they serve is just uniformity. So they are about, I want to say, roughly 3 to 4 inches apart from each other. And that's basically what I'm doing. I'm cutting where the blue tapes are at, making sure that they're all even on each side. I am now just trying to get an idea of where or how I want the Chanel signs to look, because you don't want the gap in the middle to be too wide or too small. And now you see me taking the pliers again, but this time I'm cutting around the outsides, leaving the middle alone in order to make sure that there's no lopsidedness and they sit together flat and evenly. As you can see now, I'm placing it on the other half of the seat through the middle layer of the wiring in order to create just that flat line, both even out Chanel signs. And now what you see me doing is I'm gluing where there are connects. So where the wires meet and connect, I'm gluing just to make sure they're sturdy and in place. And now I am gluing the gems. Basically, I'm following along the lines because the gems are the perfect size. They're not too big, they're not too small. So I'm gluing basically where the wirings are at, and I'm placing the gem right in the middle of it. A quick note, as you see me doing, is trying to place the gems as close as possible and patting them as you go to make sure that the glue is really taking in by the wiring and the gem nails, because sometimes they do tend to pop off. So making sure that they're ready before you move on to the next gem. And also, if you feel like you are running out of room, you can always overlap the gem. But if you do want to overlap, make sure you do that towards the middle, not towards the end. Just because, like I said, we cut the seats to perfection and you don't want one seat to be lower than the other. As you see me doing, I'm working on the corner pieces. I'm trying to leave the middle piece alone only because, like I said, you want the outer piece to be as perfect as possible. So when we do get in the middle and we might have to overlap because there's not enough space, it doesn't look as bad than having to overlap at the end. So after it's all glued up, you can see there's still little gaps and holes, and you can still see the wiring, and we will be covering those up with smaller gems in a minute. So these are the gems. You find the same gems in the same category as the bigger ones. They come in different variety packages, so that's what I picked up. So as you see me doing, I am basically just covering up the holes, the little wiring. And I like this part because it really makes it pop out even more. It gives it that 3D, really sophisticated, really almost diamond-y looking effect. So making sure that you get every little thing, but it's very, very timely. Like, this is what takes the most part, if anything. Like, the big gym was, it was easy. It took me a good maybe 20 to 30 minutes because I've been doing it for a minute. But now this part, I will say it'll take you a good maybe 40 minutes. But hey, pop up a good show, watch a show of America's Got Talent or something. I don't know. Give yourself entertained. And it's important to look at each C from different angles because sometimes you'll be missing some circles and holes and you think that you covered it up, but you covered it up at a wrong angle. So making sure that you stand the C straight forward as if it's facing you, because that's how you are going to be laying it up, displaying it up anyways. And then you'll be able to see visually where the gems need to be placed in terms of, just how properly they need to be placed. Because if you glue it too slanted up, then you can see underneath the gem, and that's a mistake that I've made multiple times. So I'm letting y'all know. Just to save a little bit more time, I didn't really place gem at where the bottom of the Chanel was going to be, only because it was going to be covered up anyways. So you don't really have to pay attention to covering the bottoms with the gem. If anything, you'll be saving more gems and more money. So just really make sure that you get the top of the C, the middle of the C, the bottom of the C, but not really like the sole of the C, if that makes sense. So this is how it should be looking right now. And like you saw, there's gaps on the bottom only because we are going to be covering that up later. And now I am taking out the 2 foams that I'm going to be placing together with the Gorilla spray. That thing is strong, like strong as in smell and strong as in like it works really good too. I'm clamping it together, making sure that they are just solid as a rock because you don't want nothing to fall apart, obviously. So I'm patting it to perfection. And I'm going to be taking an X-Acto knife, cutting it down the middle, a straight line down the middle, and that is where we will be placing the Chanel sign. And I'm taking a thicker knife and I'm just really trying to curve out a thick, deep layer to set the 2 Chanel signs right in the middle of, because you really want it to be deep and wide. So I'm really making sure that it's wide enough and not too skinny or not too big, in fact. So really making sure that it's the perfect size, really. I brought out the Chanel sign to see if it fit through the line, and it did. And I kind of wiggled it in there just to make sure that it fit all the way and deeply. So now you see me doing is I'm bringing back the spray, and I'm going to be covering up the whole entire foam with black and gray mesh. So before the glue dries out, I kind of just like pat it into perfection and making sure that the line is still visible. So making sure you poke a line through the line that you already created, because you don't want it to dry up and the line is no longer there. So I'm smoothing all the corners, all the edges, patting it all around, just making sure that when it dries the way that I want it. I then cut around the excess fabric, as you can tell. I now take the gray fabric and I do the same thing as I did with the black. I basically respray it and I line up where I want the gray to sit. So all around 360 the circumference of the circle, making sure that they're all even, no fabric is sticking up. So really making sure that you eye level it. As you see, smoothing and patting is very important because you want to really smooth out any errors or any lump just to make sure that it sits flat, and you don't want there to be any bubbles getting in the way of your perfect Chanel piece. And what you see me doing now is, which is kind of important, I'm cutting the sides out because that's where the line piece is placed at. So we really need that gap in order to put the Chanel piece. More gluing of the gems, yay! But this time it's actually easier only because the gems that we bought previously, they come in a line. So instead of having to glue the gems piece by piece, you can just glue them line by line, which was actually what I found easier and faster. So that wasn't as bad. And this is how it should be looking. Ta-da! But as you see, there's gaps. And you know when there's gaps, more gems, but smaller gems. So yeah, now I'm taking the smaller gems and I'm basically just filling up all the gaps that you see. Because I'm not we're going to make these look legit as possible. These are not about to look like it's a second grade, first grade kindergarten art project. We're not doing that. My battery died. I'm so sorry, guys. But I basically did the same thing, but at the bottom. And I traced out the battery package to create that hole that you see. And now time for lights. Turn off the lights. I'm playing. I don't even know what the song is. Okay, so what you see me doing now is I am just basically trying to find a way to where, because as we said, there is a top piece and there's the bottom piece. And I'm trying to find a way of how I should do the wiring in order for me to get back to the bottom piece. So yes, once I figured that out, which took a minute, which I was dumb, start from the bottom up and the neck down, I glued it to the way that I felt was best right. And please, y'all, please be careful. I have African hands, so heat doesn't really, it doesn't burn me like that. But keep in mind, the hot glue gun plus a wire, which is a metal, is going to make it extra hot and too hot to handle. So just make sure that when you do it, you don't really pet with your fingers. You wear some type of I don't even know, something that's going to protect your fingers. And now we're almost getting there, y'all. We're almost there. So what you see me now, I'm filling up the little line that we made because this is where the Chanel is going to be standing. We are going to be gluing up with thick, like layers of glue, like layers upon layers type. You see I'm going back and forth, back and forth. Ooh, I almost fell off my bed. But yeah, so now we are going to place the Chanel right smack on the middle, smack-a-licious right there. Right there. Y'all, I'm just tired and I'm trying to be as energetic as possible because I don't want to sound like I'm bored. But nah. So yeah, I'm placing it right in the middle. And as you see, I took back the glue gun and I'm really making sure that it's glued all the way down because we don't want these things falling. We want it to be firm. So, and glue is really what's holding it up at this moment. And what I'm doing now, I'm taking heavy items just to make sure that both sides is weighed evenly. And when it dries straight up and not slanted. And now just admire your little Chanel piece. Just clap for ourselves. We did that. It looks so freaking pretty with a flashlight on it because it glows up and you see different color, different dimensions come out of it. I'm like, well, dang. Chanel who? Like, who paid $300? Not I. But hopefully y'all enjoy this video. Hope to see y'all soon. Thumbs it up. Share it with your friends. Share it with your dogs. And see you next time.
Run it up. Yeah, run it up. Run it up. Run it up. Yeah, run it up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yo, shout out to Esther, she's slow as shit.